The rest of the shit, Bant and freaking, I don't know, Medic. I mean, I think people who built those things were more excited to build a acronym that they could sell than they were actually about thinking about what the they were talking about. That seriously, I just don't understand it. It makes no sense to me whatsoever.
We obviously see a number of industries where budgets are being slashed, but like in that sort of a climate where we're getting more pushback than ever, does that change the kinds of questions we need to ask or how we approach discovery with our
No.
customers?
Well, okay, great question. So the answer is, if you do a proper discovery now, no. But most of you do a horrific job at discovery now. Every time we do a training with an organization, their top guy or girl says, oh, Johnny was the best discoveries. Within 3 seconds, I take a look at what he's got in his CRM, and I take a look at what he knows about their opportunity, what he knows about the client, what he knows about their problems, their impacts, their root causes. He doesn't have jack So the truth of the matter is 99.99% of people, 5 nines, are product-centric sellers. They're selling the product. So the whole premise, when you just asked, well, you said, oh, well, we don't have the budget now. We haven't allocated the money, and maybe in a few months and this and that. That is all a product-centric environment. If your product or service can actually solve a problem that your buyer could be having that is impacted by the recession, then you shouldn't be selling your product. You should be having conversations with the buyer about how and if that problem exists, and if it is being magnified by the recession, and if not changing during the recession causes more pain or is more expensive than changing now, and you do a good job getting to see that they will change now. And that's your whole purpose in selling the recession, is not changing now costs more than changing now.
Warren Buffett said, when the tide goes out, that's when everyone catches you skinny dipping or catches you swimming with no pants on.
Yeah.
And the tide is currently going out, and a lot of sellers who haven't mastered the fundamentals of discovery and actually selling, which is really understanding the reasons why people and companies buy, are going to be out there with their bits showing.
So not doing something is not an option, right? And yet in sales is the same way. When you start working with a company and you dig in and you ask all the questions, you do a proper discovery and understand the size of the problem, it should become evident if not changing is an option. If it is an option, then get out. Like, hey, great, you seem to be okay. You could probably last through the recession. You can do this, great, good for you, move on. But if not, you look me in the eye and say, I understand you not wanting to spend the extra, $10,000 or $20,000 a month. However, you just told me that you're losing this much or this is happening. When I play this out, if you don't do anything, is it fair to say by the end of the year or in 18 months, whatever, you're going to be out $2 million. The cost of preventing that is only $100,000. I'm confused why you would sit and do nothing. But most salespeople do not know how to dig that deep.
So how do you think about and position yourself as an essential solution in times like these, when they're in that understanding, where am I going to really lose and where am I going to feel the biggest pain?
Here's the other part, Tyler, and I don't mean to be mean because you're the host. We got to get this pain shit out of the vocabulary. This pain is killing salespeople because pain exists across the entire line, and salespeople grab onto a single piece of pain and sell to that, and that's not enough. So once you find the problem, you have to find the root cause, and they are different. If you don't solve the root cause, then the problem doesn't matter. You can't fix it because you cannot fix a problem without understanding the root cause. So you have to have all three. You've got to understand the problem. You've got to understand the root cause and why the problem exists in the first place. And then finally, you got to understand the impact. And if you get those, I promise you, Tyler, and I'm watching Will shake his head and everybody paying attention, I promise you, you will know if your product is essential.